Welcome to a show about ghosts and goblins, Draculas and monsters, and terrorists and teenagers and slashers.
I'm Evan.
I'm Sam. It's nice to see you. It's the Horror Appraisal.
Yes, it is. What a wonderful introduction that was, Sam. But you know, far out of the vein of our regular ilk, we're going to be talking about something different today.
Yes.
And that is, of course, the theme of technology run amok in society. And boy, that concept has actually given us some pretty groovy horror films.
Technological horror shopping mall.
Yes, yes. Also known as killbots.
What's amazing about this is Vestron Video came back to do a series of these releases, and Chopping Mall is one of those. It's a really nice looking release. But it was what, $26, something like that.
It was a little pricey for a 77-minute film.
From 1986, though, you've got a lot of people that were kind of in other movies.
Yeah, actually, this movie's one of those really cult classics from the 80s. You have a lot of people who've been in other horror films, like Barbara Crampton is in it. She, of course, was in Reanimator. It has some people from the Friday the 13th series in it. One person I was delighted to see, as I pointed out, was a character actor, Garrett Graham, who played a technician. And, of course, we talked about him in our review for TerrorVision, and he was also in Child's Play 2, Phantom of the Paradise, etc.
The mom from TerrorVision was also in this, and the woman
wasn't she?
From House of the Devil.
Wow.
And the guy from Gremlins and The Howling.
I can never remember the guy's name.
He's always a janitor, or he's in the Terminator.
He's in the Terminator. He's the pawn store owner that Arnold shoots after he procures the guns.
So anyway,
lots of people in this.
We have a mall that apparently has experienced enough burglary and petty crime that it is justified in having robots that probably cost millions of dollars roaming its hallways to arrest unsuspecting teens.
Yeah, they look like Cylons from the 70s Battlestar, and it's kind of weird. They're not really all that threatening looking, but they really pack a wall up when they finally catch up to you. So basically rundown of the film, they got these little pincers, but rundown of the film. So these kids who work in a furniture rental store.
I don't know if is it a rental store or a purchase store?
Whatever. There's furniture store at the mall. They're throwing a party. And they're all sleeping together on the beds and stuff. And one guy goes out to the cigarette machine at night. That just shows you how far, that dates this movie a little bit. And the robots basically just go crazy and they just start killing people.
Protector 1 online.
Yeah. I'd like to see RoboCop fight these things. I think
the common kill method in this movie is using the claw to rip open a throat. But there's a blaster that they have, and they also have
they're kind of like Daleks.
They have tranquilizer darts, and they have electrifying darts, or like a taser kind of thing.
Yeah.
What else do they use?
They have a veritable bevy of non-lethal and lethal weaponry.
Yeah.
But this is a fun movie because it's
in the vein of Roger Corman, really. He was involved, and
he was, or one of his relations. I can't remember, but it was a very just fun film, honestly. There's not a whole lot of in-depth analysis for Chopping Mall, except it's a really fun 80s film that's got some good, some good kills in it that we just really enjoyed watching.
So, of the subgenres that are acceptable for horror, would you consider this sci-fi horror? Would you consider it's not a slasher, really? But it's a robo-slasher kind of thing.
I guess you'd have to put it into sci-fi horror just because it's a future technology that hasn't really been explored, or at least it hadn't 30 years ago when the film was made. Here we are 30 years later after this film was made, and we still don't have android or robot guards in a lot of in pedestrian places such as shopping malls.
They've been putting them into malls in California. They're actually robo police now.
Well, I did not know that.
They are very expensive.
Yeah.
But apparently they alert real authorities.
Oh, yeah.
But they do walk around. But, this kind of movie, you should watch this movie, California, and get rid of your robots.
Yeah, because, it's just one of those things. Why are we going to, what movie has ever, have you ever put, a robot in charge of something And
That's never a good idea.
Yeah, I like one thing I do like about the robots in this film. I like how they get around on these treads because it reminds me of Johnny Five from Short Circuit. that endears them to my heart.
There's a few good kills in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
The effects you can tell are just really generic. They're not super good.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really a whole lot of like live as they happen kind of effects. Like you'll see it grab somebody's throat and then you'll see it kind of slit open later.
Yeah.
The one thing that really kind of stands out is the head explosion. You can tell they put all their kill eggs in one basket. This girl's running away and she gets her head blown up, and it's a
blown up by a laser.
Pew pew.
Yeah.
And what's funny is it hit her in the leg, it hit her in the back, and then finally when it hits her in the head, it explodes.
It shoots her in the butt with the laser. She's just like ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
She's still running.
But of course, it hits her in the head, and like her head explodes in red soup.
Barbara Crampton has a good scene in this involving fire.
Yeah, she does. Yeah. But it just really raises that age-old question about why do we always try to improve upon the human condition for things we try to put in place. Like it's kind of like I go to the grocery store, okay. And there's 18 lanes, and like 3 of them are open. And they got huge lines, and then I've got to go to the check yourself out lane at the grocery store. I know this isn't that close of a similarity, but come on, it kind of.
It's like the automation factories and people losing their jobs.
We're always trying to improve things with the automaton.
We're trying to make people lazy, but at the same time, people can't make money if they don't have a job.
Yeah. This never would have happened if they just had like really lazy fat security guards at this mall, stuffing their face with corn chips and donuts.
You kids need to get out of here. Go home.
Just shining their big flashlight. Hey, what are you kids doing in there?
Yeah, okay, Tom.
Yeah. Screw you, Todd.
There's one actor in this. I can't remember his name. He's always chewing gum in this. He's like the epitome of the '80s.
Yeah, he's
jock cool kid actor, and
he's the first one to die by the hands of the robots, actually.
Of the teens, yes.
Of the teens, yes.
The music in this is really fun.
Oh my gosh! Tell us about the soundtrack to this film, Sam.
It's one of the most '80s things I've ever heard in my life. It's I don't know. It's something you would think of as like the synth wave movement of what we're hearing today, with the likes of people that are doing like stuff like It Follows and stuff like that. Only on a much cheaper level.
Yeah, that's true.
The actual '80s instruments were not as good as what they have today, and what they're trying to do today to emulate that takes the coolness of what we heard in the movie we just saw and makes it better.
Sweet.
So it's like this movie is direct inspiration for a lot of the good things you're hearing today. So if you watch it, make sure you listen to the soundtrack. I think you hear a lot of really fun things going on, and
yeah,
it's easy to dismiss as cheesy, but I think it's just good.
I think too this movie is one of those lessons. This never would happen to these kids if they hadn't stayed at work and decided to have this party. Don't do stuff like this at work. You don't shit where you eat. You just leave work when you're done. Don't ever spend the night in a mall or any other kind of venue where there's other things or people in charge of your security. Bad stuff is going to happen.
Well, Dawn of the Dead, malls were brand new. And we're talking 78, 79 with Dawn of the Dead. This was 1986, just 7 years later. That seems so strange that it's only like 7 years separated from Dawn of the Dead. Malls were very much like on their just explosive point at this point. Like towns across America were really building malls like crazy in '86.
Yeah.
So it's like this movie attempted to terrify people because Jaws had the ocean and
sure.
Norman Bates had the
hotel.
Shower.
Oh, okay.
So
normal places we go to, trying to
So this is the mall thing, like.
Yeah, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
So who do you think would win in a fight? Those 3 robots from Chopping Mall versus a totally infested mall with like 1,000 zombies.
Well, the zombies wouldn't be thinking about how to save themselves, so those things would just kind of like rip them apart, I think.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool if they made a movie.
Dawn of the Chopping Mall.
Yeah, I think they ought to do like a a crossover where there's people they get the robots to kill the zombies. I think that'd be pretty cool.
So I think a lot of the kids in the 80s probably saw the artwork for this and thought, wow, it's like ghouls in a mall, because the artwork for this, unless you look really close, it looks like a ghoul's hand holding a shopping bag.
Yeah.
You can't see the wires and stuff on it unless you look really close. And I think that kind of...
Can I see it? I didn't realize that.
I think that kind of steals something from House.
Oh, I see that.
In the movie House, you've got the ghoul hand kind of ringing the bell, and on this, you've got the ghoul hand.
It's kind of a misleading cover.
It is.
Really. It's a fun movie, but the cover is kind of misleading.
I think as kids, everybody's like, "Yeah, I want to see that," and then finally, as an adult, when you get to see it, you're like, "Yeah, okay, that's cool."
But yeah, you can tell that's not. It looks like a demon's hand, like holding a bag with like a head in it. But you really do see wires. But there's nothing in this movie that has that kind of wiry.
But I'll say this is one of my favorite artwork things for
yeah, this is really cool. Circuitry is what I meant, but wiring. But it's still Chopping Mall, really cool movie. They also have released Blood Diner on Blu-ray, a new release of it. And I think they've got Return of the Living Dead Part 3 coming.
Yes, which is very exciting for me.
Yeah, I know you love that movie.
So. Anything else to say about Chopping Mall?
No, good fun movie. I really enjoyed it. You guys should definitely go check it out. It's one of those gems from the 80s that a lot of people don't know about. So, of course, whenever that's the case, go watch it.
The Blu-ray transfer on this is really good,
too. It is.
By the way, the copy that I had before was just one that was just like a collection of movies kind of thing with Chud 2 and something else. I think maybe Warlock.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's a great collection. But this copy blows that away as far as how it looks.
Yeah.
And there are some insightful special features if you're a particularly rabid Chopping Mall fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Sam, we've got a couple of projects coming up.
We have a brand new website. We have an event. We have an official website now.
Yes.
TheHorrorAppraisal.com.
Absolutely. Isn't that amazing?
It's
that
weird.
Finally we have a website.
It's weird.
It is. And, we've got some projects that we're going to be working on coming up. You guys voted and we've listened. So our next long project that we'll be working on is we will be doing the horror films of the 1970s year by year.
Let me just say, some of these 1970s years are not as glamorous as they seem. There are some
They seem glamorous.
Well, the 70s, you think, oh yeah, Halloween, Black Christmas, and it's really you only have a few good movies per year, and then when you look at 1970, you're just like...
Well, we're more partial to a lot of 80s films. Not to say that there's not some 70 films a la Dawn of the Dead that we love, but it's going to be a little tougher for us, but I think it's going to be good because we're going to be able to watch these movies and really...
We're going to see a lot of them for the first time.
Yeah. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. Another idea that we've got coming up for a video is, I think Sam and I are going to do the worst. Is it the worst?
Well,
or what won the Twitter?
The best one, but we'll probably end up doing both eventually. I would say.
Well, anyway, we put the thing on Twitter, but the idea came to us from Anthony Baldwin at Change the Reel. That's his YouTube page. He does movie reviews as well, so check him out on YouTube at Change the Reel and REEL. But we're gonna do probably best and worst horror films of the 21st century so far. Yeah,
and the catch on the worst is that, of course, there have been a lot of movies we've been smart enough to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really going to be talking about ones we've seen.
Yeah.
Ones that are more mainstream, ones that had the budget and didn't have an excuse to be so terrible.
Yeah.
So those movies that were out there that were filmed on $10 and were put out that are terrible, I'm not going to really rag on them too hard. I mean, there's a lot of those.
Yeah. That we'd be here for centuries.
Well, these are all equally bad, and nobody knows about them, and we can't carry a conversation because we turned it off halfway through.
Yeah. That would make things difficult. But anyway, so we hope that you will go check out Chopping Mall and enjoy it. And please follow us at the Horror App on Twitter.
Make sure you like and subscribe our videos.
Absolutely.
And comment. We always interact.
Yeah, we love talking to you guys. So for the Horror Appraisal, I'm Evan.
I'm Sam.
And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Bye. I meant to actually say something about that. I'm glad you did that.